And another guardsman responded to the gunfire and shot the suspect multiple times. It was 4 times, and he survived.
What? Something big is brewing in the USA. What is going on in the US in 2025? Let's check it out.
Oh, this week, Jimmy finally addressed the MrBeast is falling off comments. Some absolutely apocalyptic scenes are coming out of Hong Kong right now. Teenagers in Australia are now taking legal action to try and block the social media ban. Diddy has confirmed a Netflix documentary, and something big is brewing in America after 2 soldiers were on US soil.
Dude, that's wild. I'm not gonna lie, that Diddy documentary, dude, 50 Cent. You know what's funny? My name Fiddy actually came from 50 Cent. Like, it was 50 Cent, but I just dropped the cent and just call it Fiddy. But 50 Cent and Diddy have this like weird like rivalry, and now 50 is dropping a documentary called Surviving Diddy. That is wild. Hopefully they don't shoot up that movie set or that documentary set, because I know with people that roll with Diddy, it's completely possible.
That and so much more. Alex is only 70K away from keeping his job. So subscribe. I've also got a big announcement that's going to affect the next couple of weeks of uploads at the end of this video. So just make sure to watch that. And let's stop the yapping, man. And let's get cracking, man. Cracking. We are back! Okay guys, just quick note before I want to begin. Alex is okay, and I just want to thank all of you on his behalf for all of the well wishes. If Alex wants to explain what happened and all of that, he will do so in the comments. I don't want to say anything for him, but just so you guys know, he's okay now. Until he gets fired, if we don't hit 1 million. So make sure he's okay. Let's get into this video! Okay, we got a lot to cover today, so let's quickly talk about something I never thought we'd be saying. Is MrBeast actually falling off? Well, yesterday, Jimmy addressed exactly that, and those recent comments and claims online, and surprisingly, he apologized for it. So, for those who don't know about all of the yap online, basically, there's been a string of videos that he's put out, and a lot of them have performed lower than his average, and we're still talking insane views here, so let's just really keep that in perspective. But, you know, someone started pointing out that he hasn't broken that 200 mil mark for nearly a year now, which in 2024 was something he did almost every upload. And instead of MrBeast coming along and being like, you guys, where is your hundreds of millions of views? I ain't fallen off. He did something a little bit different. He said, after some reflection, I just want to say I think some of our newer YouTube videos haven't been as good as I wanted. I apologize. Your boy is going to go into ultra grind mode and make the greatest content of my life in 2026.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like to be honest with people. They like to be like, oh no, you're doing well, you're doing fine. When you be honest, you be like, yo, I'm not gonna lie, your content is absolutely garbage. It just forces them to go harder in a way. At least some people that have that dog in them, if you know what I'm trying to say. But MrBeast, I wouldn't say he fell off, dude. I don't know if any of you guys watch MrBeast, but he still gets like hundreds of millions per video. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna always get hundreds of millions, you know, damn near 1 billion views per video, you know what I'm saying? There are going to be those videos that just don't hit because people are tired of seeing the same thing, but, you know what I'm saying? I think MrBeast is going to do phenomenal in these next coming years, dude.
Do I need to say it? Was bro not already in ultra grind mode? I mean, how many things is he working on right now? We just covered that he's starting a freaking theme park. My God. Now, some people in the comments were telling him to not be so hard on himself, while others were saying that, you know, he's been focusing on so many different things lately, it's impossible to excel at everything equally. However, others weren't so nice. Some said that his videos have become too optimized for retention, with them being too intense, loud, explosives, and so many different camera angles. And others have said that the high dollar amount with super big things angle is getting old, and that he needs to spend more time on the story narrative. But ultimately, what do you guys think? Are people just yapping online and MrBeast is fine and his views are still good? Or are you guys actually watching less MrBeast nowadays than you did perhaps last year? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but for now, moving on. Also this week, something big is brewing in America because of what happened yesterday. And boy, it's pretty big. Trump has just announced that he has suspended all immigration from Afghanistan after a man shot 2 National Guardsmen in the head, not just on US soil, but just blocks away from the White House.
That's crazy.
The symbol of the American presidency. Now, the suspect, who was later identified as a 29-year-old from Afghanistan, reportedly ambushed these two soldiers on the streets of DC after turning a corner. According to U.S. Marine and field reporter Julio Rosas, a National Guardsman who was not armed with a firearm used a pocket knife to the suspect, and another guardsman responded to the gunfire and shot the suspect multiple times. It was 4 times, and he survived.
What? Oh.
The suspect reportedly shouted, "Allahu Akbar." Police haven't confirmed that detail yet, but that's what this guy is saying. Now, let me just state this very clearly.
Hey, yo.
They are treating this as a massive deal. The FBI are investigating the incident as a possible act of international terrorism. We've seen statements from former presidents like Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Trump called it a crime against the entire nation. And they've even now deployed 500 more National Guard members to Washington on top of the 2,200 already stationed there.
President Trump has asked me, and I will ask the Secretary of the Army, to the National Guard to add 500 additional troops, National Guardsmen, to Washington, D.C.
Now, reports state that this man entered the country in 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome, which was special immigration protections under Joe Biden that he granted tens of thousands of Afghans when the U.S. withdrew from Afghanistan that year.
Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person. You can't get them out once they come in. And
Yeah, the thing about Trump is that he just doesn't give a flying F, bro. You think Trump, he will tell you to your face, if you could be like, you could have a mental disorder. He doesn't care. He'll tell you like, yo, you're low-key, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just doesn't care. I mean, at the end of the day, you kind of want someone like that, I mean, I guess it depends. You want someone to be like strong, but not necessarily like heartless. You want like ruthless. It's like this weird mixed balance that you want. You know what I'm saying? You don't want someone that's too up here, because that's when you get a dictatorship. But you don't want someone too down here, because that's when people just walk on you like you're nothing.
came in, and they were unvetted, they were unchecked, and it was disgraceful.
But here's the other little bit of a twist. The man also applied for asylum just last year, 2024. That would have seen him go through additional vetting under the Trump administration, but he was approved for that. And then in the biggest twist of it all in this whole story, the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, he just came out and told Fox News that the shooter actually worked with US government entities, including the CIA, while he was in Afghanistan. That was the thing that led him to get granted for the visa to come over to the US. So why now he suddenly switched and actually carried something like this out is a bit of a mystery. Apparently he's not cooperating with questions from authorities, and we have no idea of the motive just yet. And the fallout of this whole situation could be massive, because Trump is already saying that we now must re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden. That could be thousands, if not tens of thousands of people.
I must unfortunately tell you that just seconds before I went on, Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, she's just passed away. It's just happened. She was savagely attacked. She's dead.
So, big things are going down in the US right now, but I guess when are they not? So, I'll keep you guys updated, but for now, moving on. Also this week, oh my lord, something that looks straight up out of an apocalyptic movie happened in Hong Kong. And what's even crazier is that an ancient construction method that's been around for 2,000 years there may have caused one of the deadliest fires in Hong Kong's history, modern history. This morning, the world is waking up to scenes of body bags being placed in ambulances, and not one or two, but 7 massive high-rises still on fire as we enter the second day. And the death toll keeps on rising. Currently, as of the time of recording, it's 65, but nearly 300 people are still missing. So this number is likely to continue rising by the time you watch this. So you might be wondering, what the hell happened? Well, in a pretty eerie turn of events, just 2 days before this fire broke out, an article was published explaining Hong Kong's recent attempts to try and phase out this traditional bamboo scaffolding method. method. And as I mentioned, this dates all the way back to the Han Dynasty, but they said that this is because of fire risks and safety weaknesses, they need to start to get rid of it. Mainland China, they banned bamboo scaffolding in 2022, but when there were talks of the same happening in Hong Kong, there was huge backlash from residents saying that this technique, has cultural heritage and it needs to be maintained. And on top of that, many people pointed out to the fact that, we haven't had really any issues with it before. Like the disasters like this and deaths from fire in Hong Kong is actually extremely low. But, that article's worst case scenarios a couple days later came true. A fire is believed to have started on the exterior of just one of the building's scaffolding. But due to the bamboo and the mesh wrapped around the scaffolding being so highly flammable, I mean, just for example, this was what the building looked like days before, it spread rapidly from building to building until 7 out of the 8 apartments in the Wang Fuk Court complex were completely engulfed. People were trapped on the top of the building screaming for help, and firefighters couldn't even get inside for a long period because it was burning so hot. Now, police have since arrested 3 men from the construction company for gross negligence and manslaughter, saying that protective mesh wrapped around the bamboo, which is a very common sight in Hong Kong, may not have met fire standards. And also they say that some of the windows were sealed with a foam-like material. And yet again, this has ignited a fierce debate. Is the bamboo scaffolding to blame? And if so, should it be banned or not? Let me know your thoughts. Moving on. Also, talking about things being banned, teenagers are fighting back down under. So as we all probably know by now, Australia is banning all social media for people under the age of 16, including many of you probably watching in Australia on YouTube. In fact, I know this because I'm going to be giving goodbye whippings to one of you, at least one of you, in a second. And this is all going down on the 10th of December. So about 2 weeks. Now, while many parents and adults are celebrating this law, many other people are saying,
delicious corn casserole.
So much so that 2 teenagers are now challenging Australia's highest court. 2 weeks out. Feels a little late. You didn't want to do it earlier? Noah Jones and Macy Nayland, both 15 years old, are listed as plaintiffs in a legal challenge organized by the backing of a campaign group called Digital Freedom Project. Now, they are making arguments like, this social media ban robs the Australians of their freedom of political communication and it violates the Constitution, and that this legislation is grossly excessive. In fact, one of the teenagers likened it to George Orwell's book, 1984. And I mean, they might not be alone. YouTube and Google have slightly hinted at taking legal action. However, nothing is materialized. And the other problem is that according to polls, the majority at least, support this ban. It has got support. I mean, as we know from the story we cover with Meta, the research indicates that social media, in particular for young people, it can have harmful effects. Not only is there psychological effects like anxiety, depression, but also we've got things cited like misinformation, enabling cyberbullying, and even harmful depictions of body image. And in fact, they're so serious about this that they're threatening social medias who fail to comply with this and allow 16-year-olds on their platform $50 million. But also, apart from just social media companies, they might not be the only ones. There's also reports that parents could be penalized if they fail to comply with this as well. So the ban is very likely to go into effect. It's, already been passed and signed into law. But can some teenagers stop all of this in the final moments? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but for now, move on! Also this week, this is such a bizarre one, squatters have hit the absolute jackpot after taking over an entire luxury resort. The crazy part is all 92 rooms are now occupied and the owners still have to pay the gas and electricity bills. This is like nightmares. Now, this is Calo Sport Hotel in the popular tourist destination of Tenerife. And about 10 months ago, just think about it, this has been going on for 10 months, it was broken into by a group of what they call mafia squatters. What a freaking name! And they essentially have refused to leave ever since, and they're now even renting out some of these rooms. Oh my God, like they own them! And as a result, there are now about 200 people living in this place illegally. Bro. Just think about the Christmas rave. It's gonna be outrageous. So you're probably wondering, how is this legal? How is this possible? Well, turns out Spain is actually pretty renowned for having some very strict tenant protection laws, especially especially when it comes to a landlord trying to evict people on their property. And even though this has good intentions to protect people, boy, can it be taken advantage of. The actual hotel owner said that despite providing plenty of evidence that, that this is illegal occupation, they still have to pay 6,000 euros a month because all of the people are living in there. They say that is triple the amount of bills that they had to pay even when they were running this thing. And it was occupied by regular people. Now, here's a little bit of the other side to this, because the squatters and maybe some of the locals, they actually blame the government as well, but for a different reason. They say that authorities have been long neglecting the locals in favor of benefiting tourists. And because of that, rent has shot up, some say by about 80%, and they can no longer afford to pay rent. So they're just saying, screw it, we've got to live somewhere, and now this is the result of that. However, after nearly a year, a court has finally ruled that the squatters have to be out within 30 days. So technically, they could still make it for Christmas. So I guess we'll actually still see if they have to leave or not. Moving on, I'll keep you updated. Okay, now this next story I had to cover because this is Alex's dream, right? This is Alex in a house. People are losing their minds after an over 200-year-old castle was put up for sale for half the price. You can buy some one-bedroom properties in London. Now, the castle is located on a Scottish island called the Isle of Rum. Come on.
Say the line, Bart! But why is the rum gone?
It has 20 bedrooms, not one. It was once visited by the king, and you even get to keep all of the historical pieces inside, which might be worth now more than the actual castle itself. You also get to keep the demons. Now, not only was it built all the way back in the 1800s, so you know it's seen some but it was so cool that for a while, it even had public tours. Now, may I suggest that this is a perfect home for those with many enemies, like Alex, because it's even got lookout towers, so you can see the ops coming from miles away. Now, there are just a couple minor downsides. The heating might be a little expensive, no insulation in there. The cost of monthly exorcisms might add up. And if you did just want to demolish it and build a 5-story car park, well, you might have problems actually getting the permits, because this building, could be your new home, is an A-listed building, meaning that it's of national importance or whatever. But upside is, if you and the homies wanted to have one bedroom each, you're only looking at 37,000, and you get to live in a castle, because the total price of this place, 750,000. You can get one-bedroom flats in London for 1.5 million, and they're not even that nice. Yes, you may need to defend the castle from White Walkers one day, but that's Alex's dream. Alex, come on, buy this. Moving on. Okay, that is it. I know we haven't done public whippings in a while because I thought that you guys were behaving yourself for a while, but nay, the subscribers have slowed right down. So we've got whippings for 3 things. 1, to say goodbye to our good friend that is getting banned in Australia. He'll be whipped. And also for the petition to address petitions and not fire Alex. No and no. Get 1 to 5K and then let's talk. You guys think I listen to petitions with 200 likes? That's not the people speaking. Remember, they kick, scream, and cry so that you don't have to. And you remember to subscribe. Goodbye! And subscribe to the channel!
Damn.
Woo! Got my whipping on back. Okay, I think it is time for some kinda rapid fire news. Firstly, Netflix actually did it. Did what? Diddy. They did Diddy. They have just confirmed that they are gonna release a Diddy documentary, okay? Yes, it's titled Sean Combs, The Reckoning. Yes, they did miss the opportunity to say Diddy do it. Feels a little bit cringy. And guess what? It is dropping on December the 2nd. 2 weeks away. Or is
That's today. December the 2nd, that's today, right? Hell yeah, December 2nd, that's today. So Diddy documentary dropped today?
That's next week! Oh, next week! No, but if a documentary about Diddy isn't crazy enough, well, it turns out it's being produced by none other than 50 Cent. That is crazy. And for those who don't know why that's crazy, is because they have hated each other for such a long time, and 50 Cent has trolled Diddy on social media in beautiful ways before. So now he's got a full, few hours to put it into film it is gonna go so hard. Pause. Against Diddy. It's gonna be crazy. Now, we don't actually know a lot about this so far. All we know is that it'll be a 4-part series. Yes, sir. And it will include never-before-seen materials and exclusive interviews with those formerly in Diddy's orbit. This is gonna crash Netflix when it arrives. Next! Oh, and one thing that is actually crashed Netflix is the final season of Stranger Things. Yes. Yesterday, it finally arrived. And I mean, clearly, this thing is so hyped that yes, Netflix crashed after the first bunch of episodes were released on Wednesday night. That's what we call a good start to a grand finale. Now, as expected, hordes of people went online saying how dare Netflix crash, but it only lasted 5 minutes, so it feels like it was not even really a big thing. Now, I haven't seen the first few episodes yet, so spam it in the comments if you have, whether it was worth the wait or it was meh so far. Don't you dare say it was meh. I've got an Asia tour coming up. We will get to that next. Also, in the realm of documentaries and series and films, well, lastly, we are getting a Rush Hour 4. Yeah. And weirdly, we need to thank Trump, the president, for that. Now, in case you've got terrible taste in movies or you're just far too young, the Rush Hour franchise with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker is an absolute classic. Have I got that unk status where I'm calling things classics? That is wild. Alex, remind these kids.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
I have told you.
Now, apart from that comedy gold, the reason this has got so much publicity recently is that apparently Trump personally requested for number 4. And then, just days later, Paramount, who is obviously the producer of all of this, confirmed that it is happening. And also, Chris Tucker, Jackie Chan, both coming back. There they are, looking all happy together, signaling 4. It's happening. We have now entered an era where US presidents are requesting sequels for films and getting granted. What the hell? One thing I do worry with this one, though, is that the comedy in the early 2000s was very different than in the Big 25. So I hope they don't ruin it. A very good thing. Fingers crossed. Next! And then finally, as you watch this video, I will probably be on a very long flight for a News Daddy Asia tour. It is happening! Woo! Now, because you guys loved the Is Vegas Dying video style so much, there is a lot more coming. 2026 is gonna be crazy. 4 videos I'm shooting in the next couple of weeks, and those include Malaysia, Japan, China, Singapore, and then also China jumping off the tallest bridge in the world to celebrate 1 million. So you better not let me jump at 930K. So get your fill in with this video. Watch it twice if you need to, because we're going to be skipping Wednesday videos so we can manage all of this. Monday and Friday is what to look out for now. So really, when you see a video and you get that insane refresh.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude. That is wonderful.